Well, let's get to number one. We have Chris Klieman. This is who I put at number one. You had him at number two. I'm at number one. Big 12 championship winner. Third time Kansas State's won a conference championship in the last 20 years. Unbelievable work. The NFL talent that he's putting out there is absurd. The development is crazy. Now, he's not recruiting at an insanely high level, but he also understands that that's not everything. He was a small school coach. He was a small school coach. He just understands how to win football games. His second half adjustments are unbelievable, and people are gonna point to the Texas game and like that last couple minutes there where he, quote unquote blew it. I'm not sure if he actually blew it. That I think a lot of people defer on opinions there, but putting a team in position to win that game was pretty unbelievable, if you ask me. Winning the conference championship in a year where TCU made it to the national championship. I mean, they were one of the best top 6, 7 teams in the country that year. He's unbelievable. He's unbelievable. His staff is always fantastic. He took a chance on Colin Klein. It absolutely worked out. He's gone. And internal promotion, we'll see if that works out. Hires on Matt Wells as well. I just think he's a really good coach, man. I think he's a really, really good coach. And when he does in the transfer portal, like he gets good guys in the portal. Dante Cephas, I know he didn't do well at Penn State, but he's really good. Easton Kiltley, very good football player. Trying to replace Cooper Beebe there. You had a good set of running backs there. I mean, sure, Will Howard's gone, but you love Avery Johnson. They just came off a bowl win against the Pop-Tart Bowl against NC State. Like Kansas State, despite their level of recruiting, I just still have confidence, man, that they're going to be perennial contenders. Their 2024 class is not very good, but the 2023 class was really good. So, maybe you hold out some hope there that class can kind of like keep that momentum going for this program with Avery Johnson and Jordan Allen, etc. I just really hope that they can keep it going, man. I love Chris Klieman, and if Texas A&M had hired him, right? And if you haven't watched the show before, I am a Texas A&M Aggie. Texas A&M had hired him, I would have been happy, absolutely happy. Happy with Mike Elko. Wouldn't have been happy with Jed Fish, Kalen DeBoer. I would have been very happy with Chris Klieman, very happy. So, I would have rather had Chris Klieman at A&M than Lance Leipold. If that makes sense, which is kind of a crazy hot take there. But man, he's done an unbelievable job. So he's my one, a tough one. It's almost a three-way tie between him, Whittingham, and Leipold, in my opinion.
It's a good problem to have if you're the Big 12. Those are the three faces, the coaches at least right now, and three programs that are on the up and up. Kansas State, obviously, Avery Johnson, a lot of potential there. Losing some good coaches, which is a shame, but it's also with Lance Leipold and some other guys we've seen the consequences of success. That's okay. It's going to happen. You got to adapt and learn, and the best ones do it. And I think Chris Klieman can. Right, he's won everywhere. He's at North Dakota State right before. He was a
Dominated at
monster
North
there.
Dakota State. Dominated.
Yeah, and he's been really good and sustained success over multiple quarterbacks for multiple styles. Like super impressive, super impressive. Taking over
He's
from
in.
Bill Snyder.
He's so adaptable, man. He's so adaptable.
Yeah, and
Every year his team plays so differently.
I don't think that's a hot take that you'd rather have him at A&M than Lance Leipold, just because like running big time programs, like you need a different type of person. I think Leipold's best at like maximizing the minimum talent he has. But
Hmm.
Cliff Kleiman's like a great like general manager. Like, hey, like I'm just gonna run a team. It's gonna have really good culture, gonna bring in really good guys and really good coaching, and can compete with the big boys and bang with them in recruiting, but also on the field. Yeah, Kleiman
Their
is
strength and
awesome. He was my
conditioning, their strength and conditioning program is unbelievable there. They feed kids
and
differently there. It's like one of those programs like Iowa, Michigan. Like they do something where they feed kids differently.
and you have to. What's also Midwest the Midwest strength.
Yeah,
No,
the Midwest
you you
boys.
you have to at Lance Leipold or at Kansas State, and he understands that. Chris Kleiman does. Yeah, he was my second guy. I had Leipold just a hair above him just because of how impressive it's been with the Leipold turnaround at Kansas. But regardless, Kleiman, I love at Kansas State. I'm super happy for them that they kept him another year in the hiring cycle. I don't know how long they'll be able to starve off some, money hungry programs that have just wads full of cash, but also I think he's happy there. He's built a pretty good program. And to be honest, like who's the alpha in the Big 12 right now? If it's not Utah, who's coming in, it's got to be Kansas State and Chris Klieman, what they've done there the past couple of years. Excuse me. It's awesome.
They're
Is
up there
is
for
more
sure.
consistent and better than anybody else.
They might not be my pick to win the Big 12 next year, but yeah, you have to put them in there. Like they're in that
Well,
picture of like just perennial contender just because of who they are. Like that's their identity is to contend right now. That's the Chris Klieman identity. Now Bill Snyder did a really good job. Can't say as well, but Chris Klieman, that is his identity there. Like his identity is to win. Same way, like, did you imagine what like in this Big 12, like what would Iowa be doing to teams? Like they'd be winning 11 games every year. They'd be winning
they
11
almost did that in
games.
the Big Ten, and that's what the Big Ten West is. But hey, let's give a little bit more props to the Big 12. We just went through their coaching list. There's a lot of super impressive coaches here, and Chris Klieman was our number one, and rightfully so. I don't know if how many people are gonna be frustrated with that. I know Lance Leipold, Kyle Whittingham. Maybe there's some Mike Gundy stands, which we love on this program. That's fine to have that opinion. If you're gonna have a hot take and Mike Gundy's in it, I love it. I'm here for it. I
Or
will
Johnny
follow it
McGuire.
blindly. Or hey, okay. Regardless, so yeah, Kleiman's a stud for Kansas State. We'll see. Yeah, you mentioned recruiting. No, I don't know if he was ready to take another job. He thought he was going to get an A&M job or something else. But regardless, 57,
Hey,
he can do better than that.
yeah, but I mean, got some dogs in the offensive line though. Like he understands how important that is, and he got some dogs in that class. Retaining what was it, the two best offensive linemen in Kansas, and I trust his ability to identify good offensive linemen and his staff's ability to identify good offensive linemen. So I'm all in on Chris Klieman, all in.